the boss.
Oh, yeah. Hey!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome to the Berlin Open Stage Show.
Yes, this is the Boss Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Trevor Silverstein.
I'm Stentor Jonsson. We are recording our spring season here in 2020, which is not in Berlin, not open, not on the stage.
Yes, exactly.
For those
who are unfamiliar with the podcast, usually we record live at the Comedy Cafe Berlin, and we have an open stage where we let just about anyone who wants to sign up, and they get to do a whole hour-long show, and we record it as a podcast and put it out into the world. And unfortunately, due to quarantine, we can't do that. So we are doing an experimental quarantine season and getting different hosts to send in content from around the world.
Yeah, and we reached out to one of our most famous former hosts, and this is someone we all know and love, Bob Dylan, the Nobel Laureate himself.
Yeah, Bob Dylan, he's appeared on the show a couple of times, and he loves contributing to our show. I'm not sure what it is about this collaboration that really he enjoys so much, but it's just such an honor. I mean, like, he's a huge hero to me, inspiration artistically, and just amazing. And his podcast ideas are great. So, but this one is not actually a podcast. It's sort of alternative what he sent us this time around.
Yeah, it's so weird because we reached out to him and we were like, "Hey, Bob, do you want to do one of these quarantine episodes?" And he said, "Yeah, I have this old record and I don't know I don't know how to do his voice.
Yeah, no,
I have this old record.
It's not worth trying. Yeah,
not worth trying." And so he wanted to send us this. Okay, so. You know, he just released this song, this 17-minute song.
Yeah, he just last week put out a song called Murder Most Foul, a 17-minute song about the John F. Kennedy assassination that he, I guess, recorded a couple years ago that he just finally felt like putting out now.
And he told us, like, hey, I actually have this other song that I wrote and recorded even longer ago, and it's even longer. It's like a full hour-long song almost.
Wow,
he said something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to listen to this thing.
Yeah, this is very cool. So he called this podcast Most Foul.
Yeah, I think he must have done that not in the original song. Again, we haven't listened to it yet, so not 100%
because it's supposedly recorded in 1968
or some time ago. Yeah,
yeah, the day after Robert Kennedy died. So let's see.
So I guess without further ado, then, this is Bob Dylan's podcast Most Foul. Kennedy scored a major victory when he won the California primary. He addressed his supporters shortly after midnight on June 5th, 1968. In a ballroom in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Leaving the ballroom, he went through the hotel kitchen after being told it was a shortcut to a press room. He did this despite being advised by his bodyguard, former FBI agent Bill Berry. He said avoid the kitchen. In the crowded kitchen passageway, Kennedy turned to his left and shook hands with the hotel busboy. Juan Romero was his name. And then just then, Siran, a 24-year-old Palestinian young man, opened fire with a .22 caliber revolver, and Kennedy was hit 3 times and 5 other people were wounded. George Plimpton, the former decathlete Rafa Johnson, and former professional football player Rosie Greer, accredited with wrestling Siran to the ground after he shot the senator. As Kennedy lay mortally wounded, Romero cradled his head and placed a rosary in his hand. Kennedy asked Romero, "Is everybody okay?" And Romero responded, "Yes, everybody's okay." Kennedy then turned away from Romero and said, "Everything's gonna be okay." After several minutes, medical attendants arrived and lifted the senator onto a stretcher, prompting him to answer, "Don't lift me," which were his last words. Bobby Kennedy died on June 5th, 1968, in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California. And that's what this song is all about. It's all about Bobby Kennedy's assassination. There's nothing else to talk about other than Bobby Kennedy, so let's keep it focused on him. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this is my newest song that we're recording here. It's June 6th, 1968, and we're all here gathered together. I got some of my good friends recording a song, Most Foul, about another murder, Most Foul. And I want to introduce y'all to some of my friends who are joining me. I want y'all to give it up for my good friend over here, Joni Mitchell. Joni, how you doing?
Doing all right. I'm managing up here in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it must be hard. Saskatoon must be beautiful up there, at least.
It's cold. It's cold up in Saskatoon. I went down to 7 persons recently, and it was below 40.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Makes me miss California.
I'm sure you do. We'll come back to you for more, Joni. And again, remember, this is all one song. I just want to remind everyone listening, this is a song. And coming up next, I got my good friend over here, Mr. Jim Morrison. Jimmy John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing seeing things as they are truly through the perception that is loud with what we have at our capabilities at this very time.
Right on, man, right on. And where are you at? Are you in LA?
Yeah, I'm in LA. I'm staying where I usually stay. I'm hitting the hay. I'm going all over.
That's beautiful. I'm sure that's gonna sound real nice on the track. So we'll come back to you for more vocals, more verses. I want to give it over to my good friend. You probably already heard him a little bit. He's on the keyboard, playing the piano. Give it up for my main man across the pond, Mr. George Harrison, one of the Beatles, baby.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. I've been learning the piano while in my spare time, and I've been losing my British accent a slight bit.
You didn't know the
Always
piano.
Been ashamed of being a Liverpudlian. No, I only knew the guitar. You can see my guitar is this scrap heap, and now I'm playing the piano.
Wonderful.
I'm quite excited because I've always wanted to get the Traveling Wilburys back together. What?
Exactly. The Traveling Wilburys, which a band that we've been talking about already at this point for a long time. I want to remind you that it's 1968. Everybody that you're listening to this recording here, and the Traveling Wilburys are an idea that we have at this point.
It's an idea in our head, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
we're thinking about who we could talk to. Unfortunately, Joni and Jim, we're not planning to talk to either of you guys to be in the Traveling Wilburys.
No, sorry about that.
Sorry.
No, I shouldn't have
I
mentioned
wouldn't
it.
even want
Shouldn't
to
have
be in
mentioned
it. And as you know, Bob, I have no interest in collaborating. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that you're here for this collaboration, because this one's going to be more important. It's going to be remembered forever. Everyone's going to be talking about the Bob Dylan, Robbie Kennedy song.
I'm happy not to be involved in any future collaborations because the Doors, as you know, are fully going on with our 5th album of this year.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting. I have so much to write about. I'm experiencing things beyond the cosmic realm of what is capable for anyone else.
Oh, yeah?
And I think, I write about, LA woman. I write about, a crystal ship. I write about a table made out of wood. I write about a table made out of wood. That is painted white. White wall. Beyond that white wall, I dig a little water about an hour ago.
Jim, I gotta say that sound a little bit like your other song, man.
There you go. That fits the music nicely, doesn't it? Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, George, how we doing? How's the music sound? How we sounding so far? You're kind of the record producer right now. You got running all the music in this stuff.
I'm just learning the piano. As you know, I've quite experienced on the guitar, but
You keep saying that. You keep saying that you're not experienced in the piano. I gave you an option to record with any instrument.
I know, but I've done the piano. I've gotten the Beatles. Now I've we've done the guitar now. You know, we've stopped touring, and now we're moving on. You know.
Yeah, but
I'm
you
ready to
are like a
move
guy
on.
that's famous for your guitar gently weeping, and you're playing the piano. What does your piano do?
Well, my piano doesn't weep. That's the thing. I've been going to. I've met with Krishna. I've talked to I've read the Bhagavad Gita, and my interpretation, you see, is that piano is superior, and the guitar
That's
is
your
maybe
interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita.
That's my interpretation. That's what Krishna is trying to say. I've been doing a lot of yoga, and I believe that's what.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the person tooting the guitar as the most original instrument out there, as you all know. But do correct me if I'm wrong. The stringed instruments are more popular in India than pianos.
Well, that's right. That's right. Like I said, my interpretation. Bhagavad Gita, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
My
pretty clear.
interpretation.
That's pretty clear, George.
My buddy Ray has been really touting the piano's horn, so to speak.
Ray Manzarek?
Yeah, he does. He even plays. I don't know if you know this, but the Doors. We don't have a bassist. You know, we perceive bass sounds through the prism of the keyboard, and Ray plays those notes, whereas we don't actually use a bass. And I think that's very profound. I think it was William Burroughs who said that the bass within ourselves is in fact the bass instinct that we all perceive and
Wow,
consume.
I like
think he
that.
said that.
That sort of he took a word that sounded one way but spelled differently and compared it to a different
It's
use of the word.
what I do.
Yeah.
I do that a lot in my own writing.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of lead people down a path. Like maybe I'm talking about a thing. I'm talking about, breaking through to the other side, and
Yeah.
people assume that I'm behind some kind of a wall that is paper thin, like those that they have in Japan, something like that. And on the other side, there's something that I really want to get. Something like a tab of acid, or like a book by Jack Kerouac or something like that I read, which is very intelligent. But in fact, I'm talking about breaking through perception, in fact.
It really just sounds like you're missing a bass player to
Yeah,
me.
that's all. I agree with Joni 100%. All I ever think about when I listen to The Doors is, man, oh man, this song would sound a hell of a lot more cohesive if there was just a simple through line in the song. There's nothing that keeps me going through the whole thing. There's
That's what people
one second
say.
I'm listening, and then there's the keyboard, the organ, or whatever the hell Ray is playing, and then all of a sudden you come in with whatever the hell you're vomiting on the mic, or whatever you're doing over there. Sometimes
People are saying that my voice, in fact, is kind of the bass of The Doors, because sometimes I'm not even facing the audience and I'm just grumbling, or I'm maybe even throwing up, from drinking too much whiskey that day. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. That's a song that I wrote, and I made it up.
we know that song.
I mean those gurgling sounds. Sure, they can get kind of bassy, but you can't really open tune that or anything.
Yeah, I was also wondering with that song, how many whiskey bars are there specifically that you have to ask the bartender to show you the way to the next one?
In Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say how, don't ask why, which totally makes sense, of course. I gotta go from one in Alabama to another one. Because I'm not legally allowed to stay in any one place for as long as, anyone, is still talking to me.
Anyway, I want to remind everyone that this is all a song that we're doing here, by the way. And so anytime you just feel it, we're gonna capture that moment, and we'll cut it down, of course, probably into a normal length. 11-minute song, 16-minute song, just something, but we're just recording here. So Joni, I mean, you are the best songwriter.
I remember when Bobby died.
Yeah.
I was up in Skookump, Newfoundland, and
Where were you? This was yesterday, by the way, because I said this was June 5th. What did I say? No, this is June. Today is June 6th, 1968. I may be mixing up the dates already many times throughout the song. It's hard. We're dealing with it. So you are where? Where are you?
Skookumchuk.
That's where you are now,
New-
or that's where you were? You
No,
said you're
no.
somewhere
Right now, I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Okay, that
But I was
doesn't
up
seem
in
very
Skookum-
close.
No, but you know, if as a Canadian, it's you know, you know how to travel through snow. It is June.
That's true, I guess.
But it is cold up here. It's always cold up here, except when
I
it's
know.
boiling hot, like it is in Medicine Hat today. It's very warm there right now.
It's hot in Medicine Hat?
Yeah, it's very hot in Medicine Hat, Saskatchewan.
Well, thank you
but
for that
I'm,
update.
but I'm obviously up in Saskatoon. But as I was saying, I was thinking about how I was feeling in Saskatchewan.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry I interrupted you. How are you feeling in Skakaskum, Chuck?
Well, I was there with my good friend Richard, and you know, obviously, well, no, another Richard,
Who are you? Who
a
was
former
the other
lover.
Richard you're talking about?
Well, he's he's a former lover now. I did leave him behind, but
okay.
yeah, but I you know, I said to him as I finished my case of wine, I was like, I gotta leave, I gotta record stuff, I gotta put this down on paper.
Well,
Or paint.
Yeah.
And you could still be on your feet?
I'm still on my feet. No, yeah, I finished. Just like you go from one whiskey bar to the next, I usually drink wine by the case full. And yeah, I've had 6 bottles today.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot, Joni.
Yeah, well, I'm still on my feet, so.
Yeah, and is that wine you're drinking there, or is that tea?
Oh, this is a herbal remedy. Made from Canadian herbs. I was up in Salmon Arm, Alberta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just collecting some herbs and grass.
So, Joni, you get around Canada pretty fast, it seems.
Yeah, you could say that.
Do you have a private jet, or how do you do that?
No, it's just me and the road. Just me and the open sky and the road. That's why they all leave me, all my lovers. Constantly on the road.
I guess I kind of understand, though, because it must be hard if you're going to, you know, Medicine Hat, and you're going to Kamkatchwa, or whatever the hell that place is called up in Newfoundland. Or if you're going
I got a verse.
Oh, you got a verse. Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah.
The conversation is meant to just get us to the verses. That's all the conversation is for. So let's hear it. This is Jim Morrison's verse, take 1.
Oh, I heard that Bobby died about an hour ago. I traveled from Saskatoon to Toronto. Got me another plate of that poutine. Well, you gotta know that the city is green. When there is weed all over, the city is green. The city is green. Ah!
Wow, hell yeah, that was pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good. I got one problem, though. That kind of sounded
Right
exactly like another one of your songs there, Jim.
Well, you know, creativity to me is just like a prison that, you know, I perceive
Creativity is a
things.
prison to you?
No, the world is a prison of the mind, the systems in place that are, you know, I went on television and I wanted to say higher, and I wanted to say the word higher. I said, oh, girl, we couldn't get much higher.
They wouldn't let you.
And they wouldn't let me, but you know, I'm free from the bars of the prison of the mind, so I said higher on television, and that was really cool of me.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
Really breaking barriers.
That's pretty cool. George, how you doing down there? What's going on?
Well, I'm just very thinking about if I could form a supergroup. You know, usually I really hate the supergroups. Just because you've got a bunch of famous people together don't mean you've got together like the Beatles, you know? But
Wait, hold on a second. What did you just say?
I just don't like this idea of the supergroup, you know? But just because, you know, we've got Beatles, we've got something, you know, John, Paul, Ringo, and it would be nice to have it, but not too artificially constructed, you know? It's all natural. You have to come from natural, from within, you know? All things come from within.
Yeah, man.
George, are you trying to hold a marble in your mouth?
Well, I am actually right now. Yes, I'm eating. It's a new type of candy. It's marble candy. 1 second.
Why would you do that
Wait.
when we're trying to record a song, George? Why would you put marbles in your mouth?
It's in the Bhagavad Gita.
That's in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm starting to think that you have not read the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, the Bhagavad Gita contains everything. It contains everything you gotta know on this world today. And some people going to contradict you. Yeah, me, mine can't contradict me. No, I've got my idea of what's in the guitar. And the guitar, I believe, my idea of it. I hope none of the Beatles steal this idea of saying what my beliefs are in a clever verse form.
Wow.
I believe in the Bhagavad Gita.
Wow, George, that was
was-
pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I wanted to remind everybody, this is a song about the Robert Kennedy assassination.
I just love what
That's in the
George.
Gita as well. Don't you know it? Don't you know it, Bob?
I just love what George was saying about contradictions, and it's life is all about the contradictions. That's how I see it. And I think poetry and politics are kind of a contradiction. I could say that the poetry destroys the politics. Politics destroy the poetry. You try to drive, you try to be a scene. Come on now and smoke some green. Come on now and smoke some green. The city is full of green.
All right. Again, it sounds a little bit like one of your other songs again there, Jim, and also has a lot to... you seem to only want to sing songs about marijuana.
I know, I
Which
don't.
I'm fine with. I like it.
Well, it's a
That's what
shame
the kids
because
like.
we in the Beatles, John is very inspired. He told me about a lot of Jim's poetry. He has a poetry about his cock. Lament for my cock, sore and crucified. And that's different from weed. That's a different topic, isn't it?
It is. And I heard a little bit of your British accent there in it. And when you said that, man, I'm just sorry. I'm just making fun of your accent a little bit.
It's Liverpudlian, please.
The Liverpool accent. Anyway, so Joni, how do you must be pretty sad, pretty shaken up about Bobby Kennedy, huh?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm not as political as people would want me to be. Like, I wrote that song. I believe I've already written it, or maybe I haven't. That song Woodstock, about how actually it was useless, and
which is a thing
the idea of the summer of
just
love, which
hasn't
I believe
happened
is happening right now.
Well, it's a
It's
great
just,
idea, Woodstock. You could have a
Woodstock
super
is a
group
great
for
idea,
Woodstock.
though. I like
What
the
if-
idea of
Bob,
Woodstock.
Bob, what if you
Look,
and
I just want to say that I
collaborated
support
together?
the troops. That's all I have to say on that.
You support the troops?
I do.
You are for the war in Vietnam?
Well, no, Canadian troops.
You support the Canadian troops?
Just the Canadian
The
troops.
Mounties?
My uncles are were in the army. So
well, thanks
so,
to them for their service.
yeah.
What kind of stuff are they doing up there in the war?
Just they're going there. I mean, one of them is stationed up in Fort Quelleretil, and another one is in Asbestos, Quebec.
Is it
And they're just,
asbestos, Quebec?
Yeah, asbestos.
Asbestos, like as in the toxic substance that causes cancer?
Well, it's the name of the town. Can't argue with that.
I'm not sure people want to be living there, if I have to be completely
Well, they're
honest.
serving their country, and I support that. And I just want that to be on the record that I don't want to be aligned with the hippies. I want to be aligned with Bob Hope.
Bobby Kennedy was a military man.
It's true. Maybe should I get on to my next verse of the song?
Do it,
Yeah.
Bob.
Okay, George, play me in a little. Kennedy's body was returned to Manhattan, where it lay in repose at St. Patrick's Cathedral. from approximately 10 p.m. until 10 a.m. on June 8. A high requiem mass was held at the cathedral at 10 a.m. The service was attended by members of the extended Kennedy family. President Lyndon B. Johnson and his wife Lady Bird Johnson and the members of the Johnson cabinet. Ted, the only surviving Kennedy brother, said, "My brother need not be idolized or enlarged in death beyond what he was in life, to be remembered simply as a good and decent man who saw wrong and tried to be right, saw suffering and tried to heal, saw war and tried to stop it. Those of us who loved him and who take him to his rest today pray that he was to us and what he wished for others will someday come to pass for all the world." That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful what Ted said there. That's beautiful.
That was moving.
Wait,
That was very
hang
moving.
on, Bob. Has the funeral already happened? He died yesterday.
Oh my God, what is today's date actually? Hold on a second. What is today?
I mean,
What do you guys have on your calendars?
Bob, are you
are
retconning the date of this?
I'm trying to figure
This
out.
recording-
I'm so lost in terms of time
Are
right
you-
now.
All I
You're
can
re-
say is that I've had a case of wine and some herbal tea, and I've been driving for so long. I don't understand calendars anymore, so
Okay.
it could be.
Emergency
I don't even know.
funeral.
I'm now a little
Emergency
concerned.
funeral. We got a funeral to do and it's last minute. It's all gonna be helter skelter all over the place when you do a emergency funeral last minute.
Yeah, thank you, George. Thank you. Okay, but before we continue,
right.
I think it's kind of important that we all figure out what day it is. What is? I know you said you've drunk a lot of wine there, Joni, but what date does it say on your calendar? I just want to remind everyone that we're using a very
Listen.
archaic telephone
Well,
conferencing.
I have a little bit of I have something to shed light on that. In verse.
Okay, it's a simple question, but yeah, please.
Bob, just because you're confused doesn't mean the date has to change for all of us.
I'm not. I'm just want to make sure that it is in fact the same day for all of us.
Well, let me just go. Looked at the dashboard on my car. It doesn't have a calendar there. Coyotes in the court of public opinion. You gotta understand politics are complicated. And it's hard to cast blame on whoever paves over the Kennedy brothers. This is a business.
Wow, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Joni, for that.
So that's what day it is for me.
Okay, not
At least up here in Saskatoon.
yeah. That okay, because I was gonna say that there was no specific date in that verse at all.
Maybe I can shed some light on this.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully,
In
you
my
can.
next verse, play me in, George. Shoot me 2-time Bobby. Shoot me twice today. Shoot me 2-time Kennedy. Now I'm going away. Ah, shoot me 2-time Bobby. Gonna smoke some green. Gonna shoot me 2-time, baby. Gonna shoot the queen. I'm coming for you, Elizabeth.
Wow. All right. That was something. That was pretty good. To be honest, at least it felt a little on point. This time, you didn't need to include
So I'm
the-
telling you, I'm planning 4 years from now, in 1972, when I've gathered all my strengths, I will personally go to England and I will murder the queen. That is how I...
Well, alright, that's not really, we're not on board for that. We're not on board for that. I am,
It's gonna happen unless somebody stops me, and I'm gonna live forever. I'm unkillable. The only way I could die would be if I drank myself to death. That's not gonna happen. I
Why
have
is that not
self-control.
going to happen?
Because I'm telling you, somebody would make it look like that, and you know, be like, oh, Morrison, he likes whiskey in Alabama, and you know, in fact, I won't drink so much that I die in, like my bathtub or anything like that.
Okay, that's very specific. It sounds like that's very specific. And if our friend Joni can be drinking six like a case of wine.
A case of wine, yeah.
Case of wine.
6 bottles.
I have a feeling that you are already drinking a lot more, Jim.
Yeah, Jim, I just want to say, don't do it, because if I ever do form a supergroup, I'd love it for you, maybe Bob, maybe Joni, maybe Roy Orbison, but if we can't get Roy Orbison,
Right.
we'll have you, Jim. We'll have you
Well,
and your poetry.
we have great healthcare up here, so I can drink as much as I want.
Thanks for reminding me about our good friend Roy Orbison. I wanted to say that he did have a verse he wanted to contribute, and I guess he sent me the lyrics, so maybe I'll just sing his thing.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy. So that was his contribution that he wanted me
that's
to
brilliant. That's
add
beautiful.
to the
He's got the
song.
most amazing voice.
George, we're gonna have to layer that in. You got a clean recording of that, right?
I'm sure he's been. I'm sure Roy Orbison has been crying.
Well, we're in the
about the
studio
death.
here, actually, Abbey Road, as you can see.
That's what Abbey Road looks like, huh?
This is the studio, Abbey Road. We have a lot of books here.
It's a lot smaller than I expected.
A lot smaller, not so much like a professional studio, but that's what George Martin was going for. Martin said, let's make it look like a student in Berlin, Because we were in Hamburg, as you know. Hamburg,
I think I have a verse if we wanna.
Yeah, well, if you think you do, then I'm sure you do. So
Okay.
let's hear what Joni Mitchell's verse number 2, take number 2.
Okay. Red blood on the floors of the Ambassador Hotel. Kennedy is dead. Am I getting paid for this?
Wow, hell yeah.
Great
That was
verse and
really
great
good.
question.
Joni, that was amazing. One point, you get a point because it actually had something to do with the Bobby Kennedy assassination. That's 1 point. And 2, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful sounding. You're singing. You have such an amazing voice.
Thank you.
And 3, you did ask a very good question. Are you getting paid for this? Look, I'm not sure when this song will come out. I have to be completely honest with everybody. I don't know what day it is right now. I don't know what year we're in. Apparently,
You did, contact us super fast though from the accident occurring or the
Yeah, it's
incident
too soon.
occurring.
Too
I should
soon.
rather say. So I thought there was some haste on the matter that you wanted the song to come out immediately.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, in an ideal world, we can put the song out tonight. That would be an ideal world for me. I'm also working on a song about the, as we all know, John F. Kennedy was killed about 5 years ago from whenever Bobby was killed. Which it might be yesterday, it might be a week from now. I'm not sure exactly.
I actually have a verse on that as well.
You have a verse on the John F. Kennedy assassination.
Green, what's behind that gnome I see over there? A man running for his life. Who could it be? But that's maybe not pertinent to this.
That's
No,
not.
Joni,
It doesn't
you-
exactly work with this song, unfortunately. That was pretty good, though.
You can't just steal lyrics from me. The green is kind of my thing.
You don't exactly
Well,
get a copyright on green there, Jim.
I think I
I have to say,
have it.
with Bob and I, Bob and the Beatles and I, we smoked a lot of green ourselves, haven't we? Couple times.
Yes, we have. Yes, indeed. And we've all smoked a lot of green, if you know what I'm saying. But that's not
I have
what
a-
the song is about.
In fact,
George.
everybody knows that
I have a
the song I
verse.
wrote called "Octopus's Garden" is actually about the octopus.
You
in
wrote
the
that
green
song.
garden.
I'm
Famously
not sure that you
not-
wrote that song. I
Hold
don't
on,
think you
George.
wrote that
Do you think
song.
you wrote that song, or are you telling
Are you
us you wrote
taking
the song?
credit for
Well,
Ringo's work?
Wow, I would say that's pretty
We've
low. Taking the one song that Ringo wrote and claiming it.
Ringo and I are in a brotherhood within the Beatles. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's inter, yeah.
So are we to suppose that you wrote Octopus's Garden and Ringo wrote something?
Well, yeah, he gave me credit for While My Guitar Gently Weeps, because I'm the guitar player, you see? And he
Ringo
plays the
wrote
drums.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
It would
That's
be.
right, that's right.
It definitely
was a little bit
would be
more like-
weirder if it were.
What he did was a little bit more like, while my drum beat keeps on beating. And we
That was
decided
the
together,
original-
we said, no,
That
that
was
doesn't
the
sound
original
good.
song.
Yeah. While my
The original
drum
song
beat
was
keeps on
Ringo's
beating.
"While My Drum Beat Keeps on Beating."
That's right, that's right.
And what was the reaction in that moment from the rest of the band? Was everyone else like, "Yeah, that's what you do as a drummer. Your drum beat keeps on beating."
No, we
There's nothing
said,
poetic about that.
It sounds nicer with the guitar, you know, and then we got Eric Clapton in the studio, gave me the idea for a supergroup someday, maybe, you know, I don't know if with Clapton or with you, maybe, Mr. Dylan. Certainly Jim Morrison, maybe not, but you never know.
You never know. Anyway, Jim, did you have a verse that you wanted to do?
I kind of forget already what I was.
Man, you gotta lay off the
Dude.
drinks. You gotta lay off the drinks.
Yeah, I do have a verse.
Or keep up.
Yeah, or keep up. Yeah.
At the first call from Dylan, we record a song. Dun, 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 dun. Singing here with Joni and George. Dun, 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 dun. Waiting to get paid. Waiting to get paid. Waiting to get paid.
Very good. Very good.
Thanks.
That was a wonderful verse that you had there, and also a question posed again.
Yes. Exactly. Should I keep going with another verse of my song? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me
Go
scroll
ahead,
down
dude.
my lyrics. I got a lot of lyrics here. Okay. Here we are. Where are we? At the funeral. At the funeral, right? That's where we were at. Here we are. The Requiem Mass concluded with the hymn. The battle hymn of the Republic it was. Immediately following the Mass, Kennedy's body was transported by special private train to Washington, D.C. Kennedy's funeral train was pulled by two Penn Central GG1 electric locomotives. Thousands of mourners lined the tracks and stations along the route to pay their respects. The train departed New York at 12:30 p.m. When it arrived in Elizabeth, New Jersey, an eastbound train on a parallel track to the funeral train hit and killed two spectators and seriously injured four. Oh my God, I didn't know that this happened. I'm
Yeah, this has
singing
been in
about the
the
news
news.
right now. This is breaking news. After they were unable to get off the track in time, even though the eastbound and train engineers had slowed to 30 miles per hour from the normal 55. Blowing his horn continuously, he rung his bell around the curve. The normally 4-hour trip took more than 8 hours because of the thick crowds lining the tracks on the 225-mile journey. The train was scheduled to arrive at about 4:30 p.m., but sticking brakes on the casket-bearing car contributed to delays. The train finally arrived at 9:10 p.m. on June 8, 1968.
Okay, so we know that we are at least 2 days later than we thought.
That's what we thought. Okay, so
Yeah.
now we're getting the breaking news today on June 8th. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we have the same days up here in Canada. But
No, we
Yo, I
don't.
just got back from India from a long time. I was in India. I don't know when we are. I don't know what century we are, really.
Well, we're in the.
I thought I was in
we're
the
definitely in the
century.
20th century. That much we can guarantee, I believe.
Well, the
You
Bhagavad
know that
Gita
it
doesn't say
would
that.
be untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you the date is any earlier than June 8. Come on, baby, 1968. Come on, baby, 1968.
Wow, that's pretty
Joni
good.
Mitchell, you're looking great. Yeah!
All right, Jim, that was pretty good. Jim, I think that could be a song of its own.
You think?
Yeah, because you guys know this guy, this like weird guy up in Michigan. Maybe you heard of this guy, Iggy Pop. You ever heard of Iggy Pop? You know, the Stooges?
Yeah.
Well, he's got a song, and I'm not sure if it's out yet, but he's got a song that's called 1969, which is a year that's ahead of the year that we're going to be doing.
Whoa.
Now. But he's got a song that is 1969. It's a good song, so you could kind of compete with him. You get your song 1968 out earlier.
Yeah.
And we won't have to worry about Iggy Pop.
Yeah. That's right. All these people always eclipse me like that because all these great writers out there, they already stole all the work, all my thoughts, and they've already put the pen to paper like that. The stuff that I see on my acid trips, I'm walking around with a Native American fellow, and this is all very profound, and then I'm reading maybe a book later or seeing a film, and it's exactly that, and I'm thinking, wow, my unique one special moment that I saw is something that somebody else pretends he thought about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so, I know they are stealing my ideas. I know they are, and this Iggy Pop fella is definitely stealing my idea.
I believe it.
And Aldous Huxley stole the name of my band from us by, writing the book, which has Doors of Perception in it.
Aldous Huxley, The Doors of Perception, he stole that from The Doors, even though he wrote
stole that
in,
from The Doors.
Didn't he write that in 1940-something?
Well, he must have somehow time traveled to my acid trip, the week before I started The Doors.
Well, you know what? I'm inclined to believe that at this point because time doesn't make any sense to me anymore. And I just wanted to thank every one of y'all for being here with me and recording. This song is going to be real good, by the way. I'm really loving how this sounds. The music track.
Oh yeah, this is still the song. We're still doing the song.
We're still doing the song. The music track sounds really good. Every time I sing, I hear it, and I'm perfectly in tune with it. And I'm sure that's how you guys all feel as well.
Oh yeah, I'm hip to it.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna be one of those songs that when we listen back to the mastered version of it, we're gonna probably go like, "Oh my God, that's exactly what it sounded like to me when I was recording it."
That's right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you're like, when the music's over, I'll listen to the mastered version. I'll listen to the mastered version.
Yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that. So anyway, we don't have much more time here. As you guys know, this teleconferencing system that exists in this time, it's not the best. So we don't want to test it. We want to make sure we get the best recording. So maybe anybody got any final verses they want to add before? I mean, I can add mine, or I could go last.
Well, I just have an idea for what would maybe be. I just want to say to you, just a thought that just occurred to me now in 1968 is that all things must pass.
That just occurred to you now?
Yeah, I just think all things must pass. I've been talking to the people in India that I went to see, and Jim Morrison, you've got inspiration from a certain kind of Indian, and I've got an inspiration from a different kind of Indian, and both are oppressed by our races in different times and places.
Okay, George. Okay. That was interesting.
Listen, it may only be 1968, but I don't know if the word Native American hasn't traveled across the pond to you guys in Liverpool.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't necessarily think it's a PC thing to do to be saying that this kind of Native American and this Indian are the same. They're not at all the same.
PC, are you referencing Paul McSee? Paul McSee.
Paul McSee. Who the hell are you? Why would anyone know him as Paul McSee?
Well, he's called all kinds of
They're
things.
They're trying out new things. They're going through a midlife crisis.
Johnny L.
Sounds like, man, you guys.
Don't call me that.
You guys got to get your head screwed on there correctly over there, the Beatles.
Well, you've given us a lot of acid. We did acid with you and Ed Hopper, Dennis Hopper.
You did with Ed Hopper.
The names.
Ed Hopper, isn't he the painter?
Well,
You did it with Tom Hooper?
I'm mixed up with the names, but whatever I say, it's mine. Me, mine. My interpretation of things. Sometimes I say it's Bob Ginsberg and Alan Dillon, and that's mine. Me, mine.
All right, okay, that's pretty good. So,
yeah.
Joni, did you have any last verses you wanted to?
I have a little a thought, an uncompleted thought, but we'll make it work.
Okay, yeah. Whatever you want,
Just thinking about my one of my army uncles up in Snafu in the Yukon.
In Snafu.
Yeah, look it up. It's a town.
Okay.
These dark times that we're living in. We're living in dark times, and no one seems to be able to escape the cruelty of the world. And so this is what I have. Don't it always seem to go? The people who are inspired die, though. They shot Kennedy and put up a parking lot.
That's crazy that they already put up a parking lot at the Ambassador
Pretty
Hotel.
crazy. They already put up a parking lot. Oh my
At the
God.
Ambassador Hotel, you won't believe it. If you go there now, there's a parking lot.
Are you telling
you
me that Bobby Kennedy was the only thing stopping them putting a parking lot at the Ambassador Hotel?
He had some progressive policies.
That's unbelievable. That's really unbelievable.
He should have stayed at the Morrison Hotel.
Okay.
That's where I always stay.
Well, I guess it's my turn to contribute a.
Wait, I have a. Do you want to go last?
No,
or-
yeah, you go first.
I'll
You
go
go first, yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense for me to go last, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Can I hear that music, George? This is the end, my Dylan friend. This is the end, my Joni friend. The end, when Kennedy's been shot, my friend, and George is feeling hot, my friend. I'm gonna drink some scotch, my friend, and smoke some green with an LA woman, yeah! Yeah!
Wow, I'll be, man. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you left out the original lyrics where you're talking about a dream.
Mother!
Yeah, that's the part.
Father, I want to kill you, mother, and I'm not gonna say the actual word. I mean, I can say a hi on television, but I can't say the R word
No, you
in
can't.
a song.
You can't say that.
That's right.
Can't say that. So anyway, I guess now it's time for me to do my final.
Richard?
People are strange when they're Oedipal. They have sex with their mothers and kill their fathers.
Okay, so time for me to sing my last lyric. So George, let's get a little music in there. Okay, so this last lyric, I got to admit, is a little bit of a divergence from the Bobby Kennedy story. It's sort of it sums everything up in a weird way. So if you're ready, okay, so George. The 2010 AIBA Women World Boxing Championships was an international women's boxing competition hosted by Barbados from September 9th to 18th, 2010. It was the 6th edition of the championship, which debuted in 2001, Scranton, Pennsylvania, United States. The World Championship was contested in 10 weight disciplines by 257 amateur women boxers from 66 federations and was conducted in the Garfield Sobers Gymnasium. Russia won 2 gold medals and 1 silver, while China the champion in the 2008 edition. Yeah,
Bob,
yeah.
Bob, it sounds like you have some kind of a way of randomly jumping from one news story to another through
No.
time and space.
This is a piece of creative fiction that I'm writing here.
Oh, I thought it still had to do with Bobby Kennedy.
No.
All the information
like I said,
you had.
Like
at
I said,
your
it's a bit
fingertips.
it's a bit of a divergence from Bobby Kennedy. So maybe I'll do something that'll clear things up even more for you. Another final verse, if that's okay with you. All right, ready. So, Emil Metz was a Luxembourgish politician, industrialist, and engineer. He was the eldest son of Norbert Metz. Born in Ike in 1835, he studied engineering in Paris and then proceeded to work for the Waring brothers who built railway lines. After this, he started working in his father's business, Metz & C. At the suggestion of Jean Meyer, he was head of research at Metz &
Riders
C.
on the rail.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Riders
that's good.
on the rail.
That's good,
From
yeah.
Luxembourg they hail. They're moving like a snail. 2 people died on the railroad after Bobby.
While wind
Terrible
goes strong,
news.
gently,
There we
hits
go.
really hard.
Beautiful. I love that. We're all jumping on. We found something that inspired us. It's a shame that this is going to be the end of the recording because we all finally are singing a song about the same thing, which is the railways. That's what we've been meant to sing a song about the whole time.
From the town of Berlin, Ontario, to Balls Falls, also Ontario.
Falls, yeah.
The rails, they keep going like the depth of my mind.
Come on, now drive the train. Can't you see that I am not ashamed? 2 people died after Bobby Kennedy died in an unrelated train accident.
Trains.
Rub-a-dub-dub. This was a podcast most foul. What most foul? A song most foul. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What the hell is a podcast? Anyway, this was really good. I want to maybe go around just a closing word. I want to thank you guys all for joining me in recording this song, song most foul. And so, Jim, any closing words, real quick?
Just know that if I ever die, that it will be because I was murdered for my attempts to kill the Queen of England.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. And Joni, any closing words?
Well, just solemn. While we've been recording this, I've actually been on the road, and I'm now in Jeremy's nose, Ontario.
You're where?
Jeremy's nose.
Jeremy's
nose. Jeremy's nose. Yeah, and
Kind of reminds me
so
of a song. I've been working on a song called Jeremy's Noses in Ontario. You know this one?
you have the wow. Okay, now I have to rethink my stuff.
Jeremy's Noses. You know this song?
No.
No, it's a song that I'm writing right now.
Oh, you're right now. Oh, damn.
Jeremy's
Well,
Noses.
I guess then I have to run down to Payne Court, Alberta, to start anew. And I think my final comment on this is: am I getting paid?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll work on that one.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you
all
for having
wondering.
me.
We're all wondering the same thing.
we're
And George,
It's all over for the unpaid junior.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. George, any closing words, or you
Yeah, I
just want to
just
play
want
us
to
out
say I'm
musically?
not trying to steal the identity of any of the other Beatles. Just because my accent keeps changing to imitate each and every one of theirs, and Joni seems to be mixing me up with Ringo.
Is that what your accent's doing?
Yeah.
I was wondering what your accent was doing. So your accent is changing because it's constantly imitating the other Beatles.
No, I'm not trying to steal the identity of the other Beatles, and even though it seems to be working, and one of you keeps calling me Richard, which is Ringo's name, and I've appropriated Ringo's song as well.
Is Ringo's name really Richard? Is that true?
I believe it is, but I would never
You
try to
believe it is?
steal it.
So
or
you know better
Oh
than
no,
us.
I would never try to take any of his
I just want to
songs.
iterate that I was addressing my friend Richard, not you.
Oh, your friend, yes.
Your
well,
name is George.
I just made me think of maybe that you guys are thinking that because I took Ringo's song, but no, it's a deal we have, and I also wrote Hey Jude.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You wrote Hey Jude, all right.
Yeah.
Let me get one thing in here real quick.
And we're trying to end the song, but if you got inspiration flowing, Jim, nothing can stop you.
I'm the Lizard King. You know this.
Yeah, we know this.
So if I'm ever murdered in any kind of mystery or mayhem, you know, they were trying to stop me from the Queen. Killing her.
Yeah, please don't kill the Queen.
Was that what you needed to contribute just now?
Yeah, I'm the Lizard King.
I'd really
Okay,
prefer
well,
it if you
thank
didn't
you.
kill the Queen, because she might knight me one day and be a real shame. Especially if she
Alright,
knighted
okay,
one of the
everybody.
other me's.
All right. I just want to thank y'all for being part of this song about Bobby Kennedy. I know we're all mourning in our different ways and trying to figure out what year and day it is right now. It's hard. So I want to thank you guys all for joining me. And this has been a Song Most Foul, Murder Most Foul, Song Most Foul, Podcast Most Foul. It's a new word I found. I really like the sound of the word podcast. So I want to thank you all, and I hope to see you guys on the other side of this. And Jim, don't you dare even try to sing.
Break on through to the other side.
All right, have a good one, everyone. I hope you enjoy the song.
Alright, cheers.
Wow, what an episode.
Very interesting episode.
I'm very confused. I mean, they seem to be confused about when this was recorded, and I am as well, because
I have
it
no
kind
idea
of
what to
sounds
think
like
anymore.
modern day recording technology, and I don't know
Yeah, and
how they could have possibly done this.
He sent us a video component to the song, which I guess must have been like a feature-length film at the time.
Yeah,
But quite experimental.
And I've never heard about that.
I've never heard about that either.
I don't know how George Harrison was in Abbey Road while all the other ones were in their respective locations.
They must have shot they must have had 4 16mm cameras in all those places, and they must have been on the phone at the same time. That must have been how they did it.
Using like an atomic clock or something.
Something
to record
crazy.
it. I don't know.
Anyway, that was really exciting,
yeah.
and I guess we have a couple people to thank. I'm not sure what they did. Maybe they helped Bob getting this stuff online, but we have to thank Andrea Björk Andresdottir. I'm not sure exactly what she did, and Richard Killiam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to those guys. Thanks to Comedy Cafe Berlin, who usually host our live shows. Thanks to Banglist for our theme song, and to Bear Radio for hosting the podcast online. Check out all their other podcasts on there.
Stay tuned for more episodes. See you next time. Hear you next time.
Thanks for listening to The Boss, the Berlin Open Stage Show.
The Boss is produced by Steindr Jonsson and Trevor Silverstein and is released in partnership with Bear Radio. You can find this and other shows at bearradio.org.
New episodes are recorded live every Thursday at 11 p.m. at the Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Entry is free, so join us for the live experience.
Also, a special thanks to Banglist for our theme song, and once more to Comedy Cafe Berlin.
The Boss is available wherever you get your podcasts, so be sure to subscribe and maybe even leave a review.
Interested in sponsoring The Boss? Write to us at podcasttheboss@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening, and see you next time at the Berlin Open Stage Show.